Hey guys, so I'm back and today I thought I would do a review and a comparison between the Kat Von D's Shade Light palette, her new contour palette, versus the heavyweight Anastasia's Contour Kit. Everyone is debating since this one came out what is the better buy between the two, so I'm just going to give you my opinion because I have both of them and which one out of the two that I think is the better buy. So if you're interested, stay tuned. So the first thing about the Kat Von D palette, first let me say that I love her products and I was really excited to hear about this contour kit of hers that was coming out, and that is why I opted to buy it right away, just because I'm a fan and couldn't wait to try this product out. With her kit also comes, it doesn't come with it, but you have the option to purchase this brush set, which is a highlight and contour brush. I can't remember the price for it. I want to say it was somewhere around $35. But anyway, her brush for this comes in a little case like this, and the brush sits inside like so. One side is for contouring and the other side is for your highlight. So I mean, it's kind of cool that it comes with a little case, just because you can't really sit it in a pot because you'll ruin one of the ends of the brushes. But I do find that a little bit annoying at the same time because I like to keep my brushes all in one spot. And at the same time, it's kind of cool that it comes with its own packaging and that you don't need two brushes to do one job. So I'm conflicted on how I feel with the brush, clearly. Just to comment on it quickly, one side says shade, one side says light, just so you don't get it twisted. And the bristles are extremely soft for both ends. I actually really like it. I used it today when I was contouring and shading on myself and have been very impressed with this. There are a lot of contour and shading brushes out there on the market. Would I pick this up again? Yes, actually, absolutely. The only ones that I find comparable are the Real Techniques, which I like. I do have quite a few brushes from Sigma and don't really think they do the trick. There's not anything from them that I feel is my go-to in terms of contouring or shading. So I've been really, really happy with this one so far and really think it's the investment of $35 or whatever it ends up being. If you are someone that regularly contours and highlights like myself, just because this is a really great brush. It gets in all the angles of your face beautifully and you're still able to buff everything out beautifully, and you know, because the bristles are so soft, it does a great job of that. And then also the highlighting shade can get into the inner corner portion of your eye. It can highlight along your forehead, wherever you want it to do or wherever you want it to get. It will get there flawlessly, and the application and the blending ability with this brush is beautiful. Now, in terms of the actual palettes, first off, when you open the Kat Von D Shade Light set, you get this little flyer on the inside, which is a description of the actual names, and on the back it gives you examples of how you can shade and contour your face depending on what it is that you're striving for. So here they've got one to show you how to define your cheekbones, one to slim your face, one to shape, and one to shape your nose. So I think that that's really cool that they did something like that. There are a lot of women out there that have been hesitant or are a little bit scared to start contouring and highlighting their face because they're not really sure what they're doing, and it is a learning curve for sure. So I love that they gave this little instruction manual along with that. And then in terms of the actual Kat Von D set, so this is what the actual palette looks like. It is a cardboard material. It is very sturdy, and I actually like it better than the Anastasia kit. This one is quite larger comparably and a little bit longer, but I just feel like this one's a little bit sturdier. The packaging just a little bit sturdier. And on the back, they have the names of all of the shades that come in the contour kit, which I like because Anastasia's does not do that. Unless you keep the flimsy little package that this slides into when you first get it, you have no idea what... Oh no, it does say the names on the back, my bad. But it doesn't say which one's which on the back of her packaging, but it does say the names, so that was my mistake. But I like that this one lays out what color is what, if you want to know the names. On the inside, you get this cute little mirror, which I like the sort of shading or the shape that it's got, very Kat Von D like. And then on the inside here are the actual colors. So what I like about this palette is that immediately off the bat, this is a little bit more... even though these are warmer and cooler shades, it's a little bit more on the neutral side, I think, than what the Anastasia palette is. The Anastasia palette, I find, is very warm-based comparably for a lot of these shades. And with the two colors right away, you can see that this one offers a lot more product than this one does. I find that with the Anastasia palette, the one that most people I think use is the banana shade at the top, which comparably is close to this one here, which is called Lyric. And between the two shades, this one is much more yellow based than this one. And I like that it's not too yellowy, this Lyric color, just because sometimes I don't know, even though you want a yellow to set a lot of your concealers, you don't want it to be too yellowy, and that's the problem that I have found with this palette. I've also found that with the Anastasia that their Payoff is beautiful, like many of their products. It's a really great high quality, but comparably, if you are going against the two of these, obviously you're getting a lot more bang for your buck with this one, just because it does offer a lot of product that goes along with it. The other thing, I mean, they're both very travel friendly. This one obviously might be a little bit more travel friendly just because it is a little bit smaller. But the other thing that I like about this one versus this is that these colors here, the lighter shades, have a little bit more of that peach and creamy texture to it rather than these ones. I find that I don't use these two highlight shades all that often. I don't know if any of you guys out there tend to use it quite a lot for any of your highlighting that you're doing on your face, but I find myself not gravitating towards it very often. The only downside of this is I find this one very yellowy, or sorry, not very yellowy, very peachy, which I think it's absolutely beautiful. Doesn't work for my skin tone in particular for highlighting, just because I find it's almost bordering on a blush color for me. But for those that have a deeper complexion, this color would look so stunning as a highlight. So I want to see someone do a tutorial with this color, please, because I think it would look just so beautiful on them. Or on you. The other thing about the Kat Von D palette is that even though both of these palettes are, the color payoff, first of all, is beautiful in all of them. But with this palette, I find that even though the color payoff is wonderful, this one feels a little bit more creamy than the Anastasia palette, which they are both powders. But something about how they've mixed this one just comes off so beautifully. It feels really nice, and the blendability for it is just flawless. I have been so happy with this, and I'm not saying this from a biased perspective because I really like Kat Von D's stuff, but because I'm not normally a big contour palette kind of gal, but this one has been so impressive so far, and just from the one, application that I did with it, I find that everything blended in really nicely. It gave me a nice finish to my contour, and I've just been very happy with it. It looks very natural. The other thing that I liked about this one is that the colors, like I said, are a little bit more on the neutral side rather than being overly warm, which when you are contouring, you want the shades that you put on your face to look more neutral, so they do look like a shadow rather than a bronzer, because those are two different techniques that you're working with. So in terms of contouring, I think having more of a neutral based shadow or powder to apply to your face is more of a win. And I find that with the Anastasia colors, these are definitely a lot warmer. Even comparing the two darker colors here, you can see that this one is a lot more warmer based. So if, and I think, this is really the only one in that palette, the center one there, that is bordering on a little bit more neutral in terms of actually contouring with your face. So the Anastasia, to be honest, I have used it quite a bit, but it's not something I regularly grab for just because I don't feel that it's all that neutral. And again, like I said, for contouring, you're trying to create shadows on your face. You're not bronzing with it. So I haven't used this one as much. And this one, just based on the colors alone, I feel like I will use this quite a bit more just because, as I said, the colors are a little bit more neutral. Just to show you what the actual colors are, this one is Levitation. This one is Lyric. This one is Lucid. This is called Subconscious. The middle one here is called Shadow Play, and the last one here is called Somber. So again, you see that you get a wide range for what can be used for different skin tones and skin types, and I feel that this would be a palette that would suit just about everybody on the market. Obviously, depending on what you're doing, I think you're going to have certain shadows that you are going to favor more than others. I know for myself, when I just use this now, I use this color here for more of my contour, and I use both of these for my highlight. I'm really interested to use some of these, but I feel like I have to be a little bit more tan for something like that, so I might use it more on a client. But I think, like anybody, you're going to have certain colors that you favor one over the other. In terms of packaging on the inside, I think both of them are pretty similar. They have the same sort of cardboardy texture, so I don't really think that one's going to get a whole lot messier than the other. I think they're both pretty evenly distributed that way. But again, for me, it comes down to how much you're going to be getting for what you pay for, and it really comes down to personal preference. I like powders that do feel a little bit more creamy. So this one, out of the two palettes, this is the one that I feel that I've gotten a better bang for my buck for. I feel like I'm going to use a bit more, whereas this one I'm just not so sure. So I don't know, I've had the contour palette now probably since the summer, and honestly, I really don't grab for this one all that often. Some people I know grab for theirs much more frequently than this and swear by this palette, and I think it's great. When I first grabbed this palette, I was over the moon because it was always sold out. So when I got this initially, I was so excited, but I have been shocked that I really don't grab for it, like I said, all that often, which is kind of disappointing. This is my winner for between the two palettes. I really like this. I think it's long wearing. I've had this on all day, which is why my lighting outside here is getting a little bit darker because I'm sitting in front of a window. And it's stayed on really, really well today. I'm very impressed with it, and I can't wait to create different looks and continue to contour and highlight with this and see how I like it as time goes on. But for those of you that are, you know, torn between the two of these, aren't really sure, you know, what might be the better buy for the both of you, my opinion, and this is my opinion only, you guys are obviously more than welcome to disagree with me, but I prefer this palette over this one. Or sorry, I prefer this palette over this one. I shook the other one when I did that. Not sure what happened there. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. This is just a very quick take of mine on the two contour palettes, especially for those that are wanting to invest their hard-earned money into a palette. It can be confusing as to what contour palette you enjoy more. So as I said, if you want a more neutral-based palette, I think the Kat Von D is a better option. The pans tend to be a little bit larger in terms of the actual contour shades. And if you're something that's a little bit more warmer based and you might use it for bronzing as well, then I say go with the Anastasia. But out of the two, I just think Kat Von D is a little bit better. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I look forward to chatting with all of you lovelies next week, and I hope you have a wonderful time until then. See you later.